What's up, nerds? So I watched Daredevil Born Again episode 1 and 2, and I just want to say that sorry this is late. I'm running into some problems in my personal, not problems, but just a lot of stuff going on, and making videos is like not number one priority for me. You know what I'm saying? It's all family stuff. Maybe I'll explain it later in another video. Anyways, so this show, I have to be honest, I was excited when I saw the trailer. I thought that the trailers looked really good. I thought the show looked really good, and I had hope because Daredevil Born Again is a really good comic book. But I did feel like the Netflix series had done a lot of that comic book already. I was like, I don't really know what they can do to either, elevate it or do something different that we haven't seen before, but I'm willing to give this a shot because it's just so good. And that Netflix show was so good. In saying that, I think that if you haven't watched the Netflix series, all 3 seasons, you might be a little bit like you might have a tiny bit of a problem. Like you might not necessarily like you won't know what's going on, but you might be a little bit lost. And I think that that is a problem because I feel like this is a more compressed version of the Netflix show, which I don't have a problem with that because that Netflix show, if you watch that Netflix show is pretty fantastic. There was a couple things I didn't like about the Netflix show, but for the most part, I liked it. And I think that with this show, the dialogue, of course, is nowhere as good as that Netflix show. The dialogue in the Netflix show is just so stinking good. I mean, it's ridiculous. But I mean, they did have a lot of reshoots. They had to start from the beginning. And I did feel like a lot of both these episodes felt like they were trying to salvage some footage and stuff from that first script. And I don't know how much of it they tried to salvage, but I thought that they were just going to start all over again. And it didn't feel like they did completely, which is fine because I didn't hate these 2 episodes. I thought this was a decent start. I thought the cinematography was superb in this show. I thought it was really good. Whoever they hired, I didn't look it up because I don't care. But I thought it was good. I thought that the action, even though the action wasn't, I would have preferred more action because when it comes to Daredevil, like, I'll be honest with you, I want to see him fight for the most part. I love when he fights. And so the action scenes were far and few between, but I did enjoy them for the most part. That first fight sequence, which we'll get to in just a second, I'll probably mention it then there too, was good when he fights Bullseye in the bar. But my only problem with that was they put those smoke bombs in there, and those smoke bombs I felt like kind of covered up some of the missteps with the choreography. Like I didn't think the choreography was as good as we've come to, see in movies and such. And I thought it was, and I'm complaining here about it, but I still enjoyed it. Like I thought that I just felt like it could have been polished a little bit better. Like maybe have the actors study it for another week or 2 just to get it, perfect. Also, within these 2 episodes, and we'll see how it goes throughout the season, the Christian themes, are really kind of dumbed down a little bit. They brought it down a level, which is fine, I guess. It's still present, which I like, but it's just kind of been, like what's a good like reduced, And I don't have a problem with that, but I think that and a lot of people don't think that the Catholic / Christian part of Daredevil really plays a theme with Daredevil, like in the comic books and stuff. But that's what he's known for. Like, I mean, and I'm sorry, like if you read the comic books, it's like when those parts show up, you really notice them. So I disagree with people that say that the Christian themes really aren't prevalent in the comic books. I have to say that I disagree with them 100%. They're very much a part of the comic books and a part of this character. And if you don't know that, it's like you're not a comic book reader. And if you are, like, those are the things that you don't like care about because you don't like, gravitate to them. Okay. I'm going to stop yapping about this stuff because I just kind of reviewed it right there. But I'm going to go through the 2 episodes and everything. I'm going to break them down, tell you what I think about each little individual part and just how I feel about the characters and all that stuff. And maybe add some little info about comic book stuff that you might not know about, and we'll get into it and everything. So here I'm going to break it down and have a good time with this. All right, let's do it. So while they're out, right, they are celebrating their associate Cherry and his retirement at Josie's bar. Okay, and Matt Murdock and Foggy Nelson and Karen Page, I love all of them. They're there with all these other people, just having a good old time with lawyers and cops and all that stuff. And they are attacked by Ben Poindexter, aka Bullseye, who is an assassin. So I just want to say, with this part, first off, I liked this part, kind of. I don't know. That's I liked that they had, because in the original script it was like both Karen Page and Foggy Nelson both die in the first episode, but they apparently they died off screen. Like we didn't get to see their deaths from what I seen on the internet and everything and heard about and stuff. I like Bullseye. And I like this Bullseye. The only thing I don't like, he had those gloves, which were cool, but then his mask is shit. Like, I'm all like, this is their Bullseye. I'm like, can't you guys just like have just a little bit more with the costume? I'm like, it's like with the Netflix show with Elektra. I'm all like, you could have made her look a little bit more like Elektra from the comic books, but I didn't hate it. I'm not like, oh, that ruined it for me still. But it was just all like, oh, that's your comic, your costume. So during all of this, Foggy is severely injured, and he ends up dying in Karen's arms. And with this, like, enrages Matt, and they fight, and Poindexter is thrown off the roof of the building. So Daredevil fights with. So first off, the first thing he does is he shoots Foggy. And I was like, oh no, and everything. And then they start fighting. And one thing that I like during the fight is that they would stop, and Matt would like be listening with this super hearing to Foggy's heartbeat. And when he died and Karen's just like, stay with me, I was just like, man, this is really sad. I was just like, this sucks a lot. And then Matt, and he's just like strangling Bullseye. I'm just gonna call him Bullseye. Poindexter is such a dumb name. And he's like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he's like, why did you do it? And then he just, without even like a beat, just throws him. And when he lands, and I was just like, I would have done the same thing. You fuck with my friend. You killed my friend. And it was really like, oh, what is the right word? Like poignant. Like just the fact, like he could hear during the fight, he could hear his friend's heartbeat, and then he heard his friend's like final thump, and it just like sent him over the edge. It was good. It was really good. This opening sequence was by far the best scene. And I was like, this is good stuff right here so far. So far, this opening scene, they had me. So then a year later, Matt has retired as Daredevil, right? And he has partnered with the former district attorney, Kristen McDuffie. And Karen has moved to San Francisco, and Poindexter, aka Bullseye, has been given a life sentence for his crimes. So they're in the courthouse, and Daredevil, Matt, he testifies, and Bullseye gets sent to jail. And Karen comes in, and he's like trying to talk to Karen, and Karen's all like, I just want to move on, kind of thing. She's like, I can't bring him back. And I thought that was sad too, because it was like, they're just, she's trying to move on with her life, and he's still upset, but he wants to see his friend, kind of thing, yada yada yada. So Chris McDuffie, they have their own like firm kind of thing. I just want to say, in the comic books, and I'll talk about it in just a little bit. Comic books, him and Kristen McDuffie, they actually have a relationship. I knew this when she popped up or whatnot. I was like, oh yeah, they get together in the comic books. It's like older, but they still get together. I was like, that's interesting. I wonder if that'll play a part at all in this show, like if it gets a second season or in this season, And, he's done the retirement thing, which I'm fine with, but I'm just like, whatever. So Kristen, she sets Matt up on a date with her therapist friend, Heather Glenn, and the two hit it off instantly. So I really liked this scene. I liked the little meet cute. I thought it was super cute. Like, I loved how he was saying something that kind of sounded like offensive, but he was trying to like not be offensive because he was like, I'm not trying to be rude to you. I have no reason to be rude to you. And then they sat down, they were talking about queens and sandwich shops. I thought it was super cute. I just love, like, I am a sucker for all that shit. So if you put scenes like this in every episode, daddy's gonna fall for it. I love that shit. I love. You have no idea. Like, I just love all that shit. I'm such a girl about it. It's just really cute. I love hearing, like, that's the thing. If you're a couple and we go out to dinner, I will ask your whole love story. I want all the deets. You know what I'm saying? But so I thought this scene was really, really good. And I'll tell you right now, and they do, him and Heather Glenn do also have a relationship in the comic books. So I mean, it looks like he's gonna, end up somewhat with her, in the end of it and everything. But and the actress that plays Heather Glenn is super fucking hot. They got a lot of attractive people in the show. I would like it if they would just like pick an ugly person to be in one of these shows, because I'm all like, that would be really, really good if they could do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, pick an ugly guy that us plebs can relate to. All right, let's move on. So after gaining enough signatures from the city and with Vanessa's support, Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin, but not Kingpin anymore, he decides to run for mayor of New York City. So this is very much in line with the comic books. And I liked it when, first off, anytime you show the Chrysler Building in New York, love it. I love the Chrysler Building. It's my favorite building in the city. Yeah, I've only been there once, but I saw the Chrysler Building. Love it. Anyways, but so he decided, so Vanessa has taken over his crime like syndicate, his dealings and everything, because if you remember, he had a little run in with Echo. I haven't watched that series. I've only seen clips of it. I'm not interested in watching it. I give zero fucks about Echo. It looks terrible. If you liked it, great for you. I don't care. But so he was injured, and she got him in the face and everything. So he took some time off, but he his wife takes over. Vanessa takes over his crime business, and it is thriving. It's doing better than it did under him, which I'm like, okay, cool. But then he comes back, and I love when he walks in on them in their meeting, and they're all like, all the dudes, because I like how she handled the meeting. She's like, she's like, Queens, or what would she say? Staten Island does not get charged, does not have any penalties. And she's like, please be respectful and everything. And I was like, see, this is how you run a business, but I thought she was doing a good job. And then Wilson walks in, and they all are obviously afraid because he crushed a dude with his skull with his bare hands. So I thought that scene was really good. And then he's like, I'm running for mayor. We need to shut this down. And we'll talk about it later, but Vanessa is a little upset about that. So in a private chat in a diner, Matt warns Fisk that he will retaliate if Fisk steps out of line. So, and I can't remember if it's in this scene, but I'll talk about it in just a second. But I liked this scene a lot. It was really good. And we saw it in the trailer. We saw a little bit in the trailer. I like how he mentions about how he's like, you lost some weight. And I'm all like, yeah, he did. I'm all like, I wonder what Ozempic method is this guy on? Taking shots to the tummy. But it was really good. And I like how Matt was all like, you step out of line and I'll fuck your shit up. And then Fisk was all like, when I become mayor, and I will become mayor, no more masked vigilantes. You put on that mask and I'm going to come for you full throttle. And he does mention, he does mention Spider-Man. He mentioned some other people in there, but he does mention Spider-Man. I just want to say, I don't know if Tom Holland would make an appearance on any of these shows, because that's above him or whatnot. He should make an appearance, in my opinion. I think that Sony should okay that, because I think that one problem that Marvel does have is connecting the universe inside these shows. It's a huge problem for them, and I don't think they're doing a good job of it. But even if Tom Holland doesn't show up, if you could have Spider-Man show up, just a real quick, flyby, maybe like he lands, even if Tom Holland just records a line at the end of this show or season or whatever, he just hops in, he's like, hey, doing a good job, or some crap, like anything, I think would go a long way. really like a really long way. So I think that they should do it. So on their second date, Heather and Matt, he learns through his super hearing that Fisk has won the election. And he's not too happy about it, but what are you going to do? And then while celebrating his victory, Fisk tells Vanessa that he knows that she cheated on him. So that I liked the scene where Fisk is all like, I know about. I loved it when the lights are going like like it's Batman and everything, or like you know how Daredevil comes to the corner of a building and he's standing there looking over the city. We got that, but vice versa. We got that with Fisk, and I thought that was really interesting. I thought that was a good juxtaposed to what we would normally see. And then Vanessa comes out and she's celebrating on the rooftop, and he's like, I know about Adam, and she's all like, please don't have him killed. And I was like, that's really interesting. I thought that I do. And he's like, I'm not that guy anymore. I'm a changed man. And I'm all like, are you though? Are you changing man? I don't think so. But what are you gonna do? And I liked this scene also. I thought it was good. I do think that Adam will be found and killed. I think Adam has to show up. You don't mention Adam's name, the Adam guy, and not have him show up. That's just how it goes. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how that turns out. And let's just, so the first episode that I was like, all right, not a bad start, because I don't like any of the Disney Plus shows, Marvel shows. So I was like, this is actually not a bad first episode. I was like, so let's keep it moving. So in episode 2, Matt decides to represent Hector Alea, who assaulted a dirty cop while trying to help Nikki Torres. So I liked this, the actor who plays Hector, aka White Tiger, which we'll find out in a minute. He does a good job. Unfortunately, I found out he died in real life, and I was like, oh, that's a bummer because he does a good job, in my opinion. But so he comes across I think the other one, 2 dirty cops, because the other one is a cop, and he's trying to help out this dude, and the one cop trips over the other cop and falls into a subway train, which is very reminiscent of New York now, except you don't trip over somebody. Some hoodlum just pushes you. And he gets arrested because the guy pulls out his badge. He's like, get on the ground. You're under arrest for killing a cop and everything. And I was like, he didn't kill him. He just tripped over you. Sorry, I needed some libation, getting all worked up. And so he gets arrested. And I thought that this scene was good, like in terms of like the fighting. I thought it was pretty solid. So with Cherry's help, Matt discovers Hector is the vigilante known as White Tiger, who took justice into his own hands after Daredevil's disappearance. So Daredevil leaves, the scene, and then all these other hooded people start popping up. And one of them was White Tiger. Now, he is from the comic books. There's a female version now. I believe it's his daughter. Don't quote me on that. I don't care. But this is a pretty big character in the comic books, but I haven't read comic books in a while, just because they're not very good these days. If I do hear about a good comic book, I'll pick it up and everything. Anyways, so they go to because the wife didn't show up at his hearing to Hector's hearing, so they go to his house and be like, you have to show up. So there's like unity and everything. And they find the White Tiger costume, which I want to be honest with you, it looked a little cheap to me. I was all like, Disney. I was like, you got to spend the money. I'm like, Daredevil's costume looks good, but Bullseye's costume looked like crap. White Tiger's costume looks like crap to me. I'm like, you got to spend the money. Like, make it look good. Spend the money on the costumes. I promise you it will pay off, okay? When people see you put an effort, we like it. So he confronts him and he's like, I should have told you. And one line that I really like that Matt Murdock says to Hector is, he says, if you don't tell me everything, he's like, I don't need to know how to win. I just need to know all the ways I can lose. And I was like, and don't quote me on that. That's not verbatim, but I liked that line. I was like, that's good. I was like, that's a good line. I like that a lot. So while attempting to improve his optics in the first days of his office, Fisk learns from Benny Urich's niece, Bibi, that the NYPD Commissioner Gallo is poised to resign in protest of poor conditions. So we get introduced to Bibi, which is Ben Urich's niece. Now, and this is the part where I don't like it. in terms of the Netflix show. Like I said before, if you didn't watch a Netflix show, you might not know who Ben Urich is. And he did, I don't know the name of the actor. Such a good character in the first season of Daredevil on Netflix. And he gets killed by Kingpin. And this is his niece. And one thing that when she does like these on the street kind of things, but they're kind of almost like TikToks, if you will, where she's doing these man on the streets where she's asking people about Fisk and everything. And I thought that they were good, but one thing is when she showed up, I'm all like, do we know who this is? And then they tell you who it is. And I was like, she could have like been visual a little bit more before, because I think we saw her once before she shows up at the mayor's office or whatnot. But so he talks to her, and I liked how the guy's all like, I called in a favor, so don't whatever, don't embarrass me or whatnot. And she goes straight in for the kill. She's like, you need the cops. Where's your wife? And then she gets kicked out. I was like, you didn't get anything, honey. Like, what are you gonna do there? Like, you didn't get anything. But she did tell him that he's gonna need the cops, and the commissioner's gonna quit, and you need the cops to stay on it. And everybody really likes this Commissioner Gallo. So he's all like, all right, fine, I'll figure things out. So Fisk then threatens Gallo's family to force him back into office. The first thing he does is he goes to that fallen cop's funeral. And the Gallo guy is just like, you're not a changed man. You're still a criminal. You're corrupt and everything. And so therefore, I'm not going to stand by you. And then Gallo comes over to the mayor's office, and he's eating a sandwich, and he pulls up the wrapper and shows him a picture of his illegitimate child and the woman that's the mother. And Gallo's all like, all right, I'll stay on. And the thing about it is, Fisk is all like, no overtime, no minimum overtime. I mean, he's like, no minimum overtime. You'll work as much overtime as I say. You'll get no new cops. You'll get all, you ain't getting nothing. And you're going to be fine with it. And I was like, I mean, I don't know about you. I am not an ultimatum kind of girl. Like, if you give me an ultimatum, I will literally pick the other side just out of spite. So don't give me an ultimatum, fucker. But he stays on. And then so to deal with all the pressures of the press, Fisk and Vanessa start attending couples therapy with Heather as their therapist. So Heather does this book signing, right? And in there, we see two people that I think, well, one of them does come back up, which is Fisk's like right-hand man, this British dude. If he's from the comic books, I don't know who he is. I don't care either. And he's the one that sets up the whole couples therapy, which I'll talk about in just one second. But then we also see this other kid who's all like, Doctor, I need help. And who I think that this is the Muse character, but just his real identity. When the Muse character, we did see him painting on the first episode, mural on the wall, but I think that this is the character. And obviously he's going to show up later on in the season. So they go to couples therapy, and we obviously see Vanessa is still upset about the fact that Fisk took away the crime empire from her, even though it was thriving. And she left him after he was injured, and she ran into the arms of another man, Adam, who again, I think is going to show up. If we don't see Adam like live, we're definitely going to see his body, because Fisk has not changed. Like, he's just trying to change. And so they start talking a little bit, and I thought that this was, fine. So later on, Matt tracks down Nick Torres, to help him with his case. But the cops get wind of where he's at, and they show up too. And he helps Nikki escape by fighting off the corrupt cops. And I thought that this scene was good, the fight sequence. But I liked how Daredevil straight up kills this one cop. I know he breaks his neck by slamming on the ground. He probably didn't mean to kill him, or maybe he did because he's just so full of rage at this point in time. But he kills him because you just see his snap and everything. I don't know if the bald cop is dead or whatnot, but he sure broke his arm. But he helps that guy escape, and then he just like screams out because he's just so frustrated. And that's where the episode ends. And I thought, so overall, like I said before, I thought that these two episodes were not bad. Is it great? No. Especially, I'm sorry, we have to compare it to the Netflix show because they're taking so much from that Netflix series that we have to compare it. And this is such a compressed version of that, and it's not as good. Like I said before, the dialogue isn't as good. Yeah, sure. Like I said, there's some good lines in there, but so what, you know? But overall, I'm gonna have to say this was a good start. So far, so good, you know? And I'm excited to see where we go next from here. Not super excited, like I'm freaking out excited, but I did enjoy the episode, you know? And I hope that we keep getting the quality that we're getting here and you know, whatnot. So, and I just like maybe I like these, you know, I know Punisher's going to show up, but maybe some more of these street level characters will show up later on. All right, you guys. So that is I've taken up way too much of your time, but that is my breakdown and review of Daredevil Born Again, episodes 1 and 2. Tell me what you guys thought about this episodes. Did you like them? Did you not like them? Are you like me and you just, you know, all the things that I thought, or are you completely different? Did you just love the fuck out of it and everything? What do you want to see next coming up and everything? Are you like me and you think that don't just mention Spider-Man, have Spider-Man show up? Maybe I don't know how to do it, but I definitely think you need to have them show up some way or some form. All right, but tell me what you guys think. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. You know, I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on my next breakdown and review of Daredevil Born Again. You guys have a good week. Bye.